Hey guys, so like I said when Courtney was moving out, I wanted to start making videos in this room again and making lots of them. I'm not going to get to make lots of them, and I'm not going to get to make them in the way that I had hoped. As you can see, there's boxes around me and stuff, and I'll actually show you when I'm done talking, but this room is just filled with our stuff. A lot of the stuff is moved to the new house. In this video I want to talk about why we're moving and how I feel about it, and I'm hoping that I can look back at this and laugh later on, because right now it just feels so serious because it's very real and it's happening, but I feel like once we settle into the new place we'll be fine. So the reason why we are moving is because we asked our landlord if we could stay until June of 2019 at least, so that we could buy all of the wood that we would need for the winter and not have to worry about having any left over and having to move out. That, and we didn't want to move out in the cold months because we had done that when we moved here because it was December, and it just sucks. Moving sucks in general, but moving when it's cold really sucks, or when it's like really hot. Right now is like a good temperature for moving. Also, these glasses, they're all twisted ever since Shawna stepped on them, so if they look crooked on my face, that's why. I'm like constantly adjusting them and they're never good enough. But anyway, back to where we were. So Shawna went over and asked him if we could stay until 2019. Previously they had said we could stay as long as we wanted and not to worry about anything. And then when she asked him, he said that he was going to mention it, but that he wanted to do renovations here and that we had to be out by the end of November. So that would kind of be like a full year because we moved here December 10th, but technically we started moving in the day before that, I want to say. I think it was the 9th. I'm not 110% sure, but it was somewhere near there. So we were just always paying rent before the 10th because of the way that Shawna gets paid. She doesn't get paid like on a first or on a certain day each pay period because it changes. Cause Shawna gets paid bi-monthly instead of like every second week. So depending on the amount of days in the month and how things fall is when she gets paid. So normally like the first pay is between the 1st and the 3rd. So we couldn't pay rent on the 1st if she didn't have it. So we just settled on the 10th. But anyway, so we started looking for a place right away because we knew that we didn't want to wait until November because then it would be cold again and we would have had to buy wood here and then find somebody to take our wood or buy our wood off of us, and that's just a whole hassle. So we looked for a place faster and we found two that were way further away. One was like 30 minutes away, the other was 25, but they were like places kind of like this that's private. I don't know if both of them were wooded, but like the one that's this way was basically the same as this but a smaller trailer and huge land, and it was nice but more into the woods and further away from Shawna's work, so like 30 minutes from her work. The other one, I don't know what it looked like, but it was not in an area like we're gonna be in town. It's gonna be a huge adjustment for me. I don't know how Shawna feels about it. She's talked about it a little bit, but not a whole lot because we've been doing a lot of cleaning and moving and not really talking about our feelings. But I think it's going to be both good for us and also a huge adjustment because we're used to living in peace and quiet. The biggest thing that I worry about is the dogs and how they're going to react. Since we've been going over to the new house, it is very quiet, and that's a good thing. But it's also so weird to look out your window and see into somebody else's. I'm not used to that. I've never really been used to that because even when we lived next to my grandparents, there was still quite a bit of space, and then it was my grandparents on that side and then neighbors that had been there longer than my life, and then, you know, like I knew everybody on the road, so it was different. This time I don't know anybody, and the way I described it to Shawna, it's like kind of like camping all year round because you're just all cramped. And yeah, we do have a fenced in backyard, which is nice, and we just have to patch it up a little bit, and then the dogs can be loose in the backyard, which is awesome because we weren't able to do that here because there's no fences and we're on a highway. We are far from the road, but I don't trust Malachi in that way because he hates cars and would chase them, and I'm not sure what Zeke would do, but we didn't want to take a chance. So they've never been loose here, but like we walk them around a lot, so they've had that, but now they'll get to play in their own backyard. The next door neighbor, there's Chihuahuas. I don't know how that's going to go over, but hopefully it's all going to be good. The house is not as nice as this house. It's just not. We can pretend that we're like super excited because it's better and whatever and it's bigger. It's not. With the basement and being able to have that for storage, it's good because we can get bicycles and we want to, but it's not a bigger living space. The rooms are smaller. Like our room here, we have a bathroom in our room. We don't have that at the new place, and I'm going to show you this video before I show you the video of that place. So this, you're seeing this first. But it's older. I would say it's much older. It has been smoked in. This house has also been smoked in. We noticed that when we moved here. At first it was like really bad, and when it's like a damp day or like really cold and we come back home, I could smell it, but not as bad as there. There's carpets in the 3 rooms, which really sucks, and some issues that we're working on. Some of you guys probably know what's going on, and for the rest of you, you'll find out because we are going to talk about it. I just don't feel comfortable talking about it now. But the landlord seems like a very nice lady. I didn't meet her yet, but going off of like what she's been saying in emails and how helpful she is, and Shawna's met her, she seems like a really nice person, so that's great. I didn't want to move because when we moved here, it was like our dream house. And we knew it wasn't ours, but we thought we were going to be here a lot longer, and we had plans, and we were excited about Halloween and decorating the house and just little things. We were going to, we wanted to roast marshmallows in the house, like in the wood stove, and we wanted to do a lot of things that we can't do now. And we have 2 more nights sleeping here, and honestly I wish that it'd be over, because I don't want to leave here, but looking at it get more and more empty and less personalized, it's just like, wow, 9 months went really fast, and I don't think it's fair that we were only here 9 months. I wanted to be here at least 2 years and then buy a home of our own, but we're not ready to buy a home of our own because I have 0 credit because I'm not even working, and I've never really owned anything other than the car now, but I've never paid on it because, you know, it was already paid off. But Shawna should be able to get a mortgage next year, and we'll find out exactly how much she can get and what we'll do next. This new house, it's going to be an adventure. It's going to be totally out of my comfort zone. It has me like thinking crazy thoughts. Like I even told Shawna that maybe after this year we'll move back to Cape Breton, and that's totally not me because this whole time I've been saying I never want to go back to Cape Breton. I love where we're at now, and I just never want to go back to Cape Breton, and now I'm like considering it. But I think it's just because everything that's going on is like high stress, and you know, we loved it here. This was home, and I love the floors. I love that there's no carpet. I love the smell. It smells great in here. I love the colors of the paint. At the new house, it's just all one color. It doesn't look terrible. It's just not. It's not home. This is home, you know. And Shawna and I were talking about it. We lived in a couple other places together. There was 2 places in a place called Broxbury. And the first place, we were only there 3 months. It was a basement apartment, and we found that it was way too small for us for the price that we were paying. We were paying like I think it was $675 a month for a 2-bedroom basement apartment with no floor. Like it was just concrete and shared washer and dryer. And it wasn't what we wanted, and we found something better. It was a duplex. So the duplex was the second place we were at, but we were only there 6 months because when we first moved there, I was working, and then I had a lot of issues with depression and anxiety, so I left that job. and Shawna wasn't working at the time, so we couldn't afford to stay at that place. So we were 6 months and 3 months in those places, and then we moved to where we were in Petit de Gras for 5 years, and then here. And we were talking about how the places in Port Hawkesbury felt like a dream. Like, not like a happy, like, dream, like, yay. I mean, like, it felt like a dream in the sense that it felt like it didn't even happen because it was so quick. And we were only here 9 months. So, this is a dream. This is going to feel like a dream. And that makes me really sad. I don't want it to feel like a dream. This was a dream come true. And it's not for nothing. And there's so much positive to take from it because we had 9 months here. And this place is not perfect by any means. There's so many things that I could like list that are negative that I just don't want to, because there's so much positive to focus on, and that's what I want to remember. I don't care that the dishwasher was broken, or that the tub is like rusty and the water here is terrible and we can't drink it, or we may possibly die. Like I don't want to talk about like all that stuff, even though I just did. But that's a short list of the things that are wrong with this place. But I don't care. I look past all that because there was so much here that was amazing. The land, it's huge, and the place is huge, and we just had so much space, and we had fun with friends coming over and showing this place off. And it was the first time that I ever had 2 bathrooms in a place that I was renting. Like, that was super cool to be able to, you know, Shawna poop in one bathroom, I poop in the other, or, you know, someone showering, the other person can still use the bathroom. It's going to be different to only have 1 bathroom. But it's not like I'm spoiled or I feel like I'm entitled to 2 bathrooms. Like, I don't care. It's just going to be an adjustment because for the last 9 months we had to. But I don't know. It's not for nothing. I know it's not for nothing. We learned what we like and what we don't like when it comes to where we want to live and where we don't. We haven't lived in town yet, but I can already tell that that's not where I want to have a house. When I look out my dining room, I don't want to look into somebody else's whatever it is that we're looking into. There's windows on every side, and then in the backyard, the step that the people in the backyard have, like, they're not in our backyard, but their backyard step overlooks our backyard. So if they're out there and we're out there at the same time, they can see over our fence. In our room, we can see where the neighbor parks their vehicle, and we can also see into their dining room. And then across the road, you can see into a whole bunch of windows, and it's just weird. Really weird. Here, when you look outside, you see trees. You see your lawn and nature. I know it's going to be okay. And I also know that it's only 12 months. We don't have to stay there any longer than 12 months. That's what the lease is. We have a lease. If you ever have the opportunity to sign a lease, sign it. Because you don't want to end up having to leave early, or not knowing when you're going to have to leave. Which is what happened to us, along with a whole bunch of other things. But like I said, I want to focus more on the positive because there was so much positive that came out of this. When Shawna and I get our own home, we want it to resemble something like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be a mini home, and, you know, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be in this location. It's probably not going to be. We would like to have cell service where we go, but also that's not important. We've learned to live without that. We got like a little taste of what we would like for a long period of time, and a place like this is what we want. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard on Thursday when we move all of our stuff out and we look at it empty, the same way we looked at it when we first moved in. Only the opposite. Things happen so quick. 9 months, it's just gone. And we didn't know this was going to happen. We thought we were going to be here, like I keep saying. It's going to be an adjustment. The new house isn't terrible, but it's not here, you know. It's not home. Not yet. Maybe it will be home. Maybe it won't ever feel like home. But I'm just glad that I got to be here for the 9 months that I was. And I'm glad that I got this experience. First time being really away from home and absolutely loving where I lived. I'm going to miss it. But it's going to be okay. And I hope that you guys come along on this adventure we call life. You never know where life is going to take you. You just don't. Like, if you own a home, then I guess you know you're going to probably stay in your home until you want to sell it, if you ever want to. But when you're renting, you don't really know where you're going to end up next. It's just kind of something that gets chosen, and you know, I guess you get to pick where you want to go, but you never really know where you're going to go because you have to pick from certain things. I think we made a good pick. I think the landlord makes the place even better because she's so willing to help with any issues that we have, and she's just always there. Whenever we need to contact her, literally, she either calls back or emails right away. So I think that makes a huge difference. But we'll talk more about the place and the problems and everything. Not the problems here, but new place. Once we fix them. I just want to fix the problems first, so then I can talk about it. I feel like it's easier to talk about something after it's already happened, because then you've already had time to process how you feel about it. Right now, I have like a lot of feelings, but I just don't want to get into that. So